All right, well, Sistas fans, we're talking. Okay, I did not do this on purpose, and now noticing the symbolism here, it is very eerie. But season 6, episode 6, entitled Mending Fences, and my score is a 6 out of 10. Oops. No, seriously, I didn't really realize that until just now, but triple six. But in any case, I don't think this was a great episode, but I will say that it was easily better than the last two. Last week's episode was just straight up filler. The week prior, when everybody was at the salon boo-hooing and whatnot over Karen, a lot of cringy acting. This week, it felt pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. I enjoyed this episode. I will say that the two main things that I didn't really care for, Zach's ignorance to how he's been acting and Maurice doing too much. I mean, those things were the only real, quote unquote complaints I have. Everything else just felt standard. I will say I got a good amount of chuckles in. I hate to admit it, but Maurice did get a couple of good laughs out of me. I did laugh at Maurice, but only when he was in the apartment and he said a couple of one-liners. But in terms of him at the lawyer's office, what's his name, Michael Smith, he was way too over this. It makes me wonder if they actually have to if this case isn't dropped and they have to go to court, Maurice is going to jail. No doubt he's going to be held in contempt because this man does not know how to shut his mouth. Man, all right. But aside from that, we're just going to jump into the episode. Like I said during my live stream, which was only like 20 something minutes last night, there really wasn't much to talk about. I mean, we got right to the point, knocked things out of the ballpark, and that was pretty much it. So, you know the drill. If you are new here or you've been visiting in terms of watching content every now and then, or if you found my channel due to shorts, thanks for coming. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, though. It really does help the channel in terms of numbers and all that good stuff. If you enjoy the video, I know a lot of people say, Jeremy, I don't even watch the show anymore. I just look forward to your commentary on it. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. And I'm trying to get the numbers up on my Twitter and Instagram where I post about Tyler Perry stuff. So if you want to join my social media, accounts, links are in the description below. Okay, so like I said, not too much to talk about here. I did like the opening scene. I really do think that the Danny and Preston scene was pretty good. I thought it was much better than the 10 minutes we wasted in Andy's penthouse at the beginning of last week's episode. I mean, the Danny and Preston chemistry is all there. Apparently, what had happened was, after coming home, I guess when Sabrina dropped her off, Danny being as high as she was, she apparently jumped on Preston and they got in bed. And apparently, according to Preston now, Danny was playing cowgirl all night. And while high, she opened up, basically expressing how I love you and you're the only man I want to be with. Danny doesn't remember any of this. And even if she did say those things, she chalks it up to being high. And even though Preston was like, I should have filmed it. No, you shouldn't have. But you filmed us having sex. Like, I didn't make no sex tape. Again, I ain't gonna lie. I like this scene. I got some good laughs out of it. I really did enjoy it. But the entire time I'm thinking, Preston has a fiance. Nobody looks good in this situation. I mean, honestly, Preston looks the worst in this situation. I mean, how you going to have a whole other woman that you're engaged to, yet here you are having sex all night with Danny? And I mean, it's kind of in the same vein of, let's say, Karen and Zach messed around. Like, let's say for whatever reason, Zach went back to Karen's place and then, spent the night there. Had sex and everything. But he has a whole fiance at home. You see how jacked up that is? It doesn't make Preston look good. I know that I know Danny brought up the fiance, but Preston like, Danny, she's gone now. She's gone back to Texas. But to my knowledge, I don't believe he ever stated that the engagement was called off. So I honestly have no idea what the storyline with that is. But like I said, a good opening scene. All right. Then we go over to the penthouse. Andy leaves Fatima a voicemail about a deposition meeting that needs to be readjusted on the schedule. And Karen comes in. And look, I ain't gonna hold you. I think Karen was the best looking woman last night. I did later on I will get to Sabrina. I did like Sabrina's vanilla, outfit and whatnot. But Andy looked good in the pink, but I think Karen was I don't know if it was the color of the dress or maybe, because we were seeing a lot of leg, but Karen definitely looked good in this episode. Also, not to jump too far ahead, but I kind of have to. I thought Pam was dressed nice as well, but I will say this. I kind of noticed this when I looked at the trailer for this week's episode, and Karen and Zach. Oh, are they going to kiss outside of the salon? And my whole thing when I was watching last night's episode, specifically when Karen is driving and she calls Zach that morning, and I'm like, wait a minute. So I know she's going to the salon to, check things out and get a feel for the damages and whatnot. And I'm like, she's not really dressed for someone who's going to the charred remains of her place of business. I mean, when you go to something like that, you kind of want to dress down because it's like, okay, I need to see what the damages are, and is there anything that can be salvaged? And I'm like, she's dressed in her Sunday best, or she's going to like a date or something. And then it clicked. I'm like, she's probably dressed that way to make an impression on Zach. Maybe this is like one of her dresses that he loves to see her in, or like I mentioned earlier, the legs, maybe she's wearing a, kind of cut dress to show off her, her legs or something like that. And just basically trying to seduce Zach, because when I looked at her, I'm like, this is not the look of someone who is dressed to, assess damages. This is someone who's looking to score a date or something. And to be honest, Pam was kind of, well, I mean, I already said I like what she was wearing as well, but she's not really dressed for someone who said they would, stop by to see what she can clean up. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But in any case, she's over there to talk with Andy about the Zach situation. Oh, he was so sweet over the phone and whatnot. And it was Pam's idea to call Zach to ask for help. And Andy's like, why Zach though? Well, he was being so sweet and everything. And what I loved about this scene is that Andy didn't budge. Usually the Andy of old, and I feel like this is what got under Karen's skin. I love that Andy did not back down, even when Karen wanted to drop the subject and whatnot. When basically, you can tell when Andy wasn't saying what Karen wanted to hear. Karen was like, all right, and then Andy was like, no, friend. Oh, friend. And it's funny because whenever Karen is like, 100% set on her decision, regardless of what Andy has to say, she uses that word, friend, but she says it in such a way like, well, friend. And here we are with Andy doing it too, and I like it. I love how we're seeing a more tougher exterior to Andy when it comes to Karen. She's not just going to roll over and be walked all over as well. So kudos to Andy here. But in any case, Andy just was trying to say with love, he has moved on. Why are you doing this, 1-2 step with Zach? He loves Fatima. Now, we kind of switch gears. Also, the fact that a dead body was removed from the salon. And, she was like, well, yeah, okay, we're not going to change the subject, but I just want to let you know, Zach ain't coming back. But the way he ran to me, look, that was a moment in time. don't let that make you look stupid. Basically, don't do anything stupid because of that one moment. So, in any case, she talks about the Gary situation and how while high she said some things, but it's like, I kind of needed to hear these things. And then Karen had the audacity to say, well, I've been trying to tell you. Well, Karen, Andy's trying to tell your ass the truth and you don't want to hear it. So what do you got to say about that? So from there, that's pretty much it. Yeah, good scene. All right, so we go over to Sabrina's place. She's getting ready to meet with the lawyer. I think Danny calls her because, she talks about how she did something stupid. Basically, getting high and revealing her true feelings to Preston. But there's really no time for this. Sabrina's meeting with a lawyer that Bio recommended. Okay, I'm actually watching the episode on mute while I'm recording this. And the more I look at this scene, the more and more I'm like, damn, Andy does look good in that suit. But I ain't gonna lie, Karen, I don't know. They both look fine as hell. I think what makes Andy more attractive here is the fact that you could tell she's like in a power suit as opposed to his outfit that has her bosoms exposed. So that's probably it. I feel like this suit radiates confidence as opposed to, hate to use this word, a bit of sluttiness. But in any case, Sabrina goes over to Calvin and Maurice's apartment. And this is something that has me really confused about how Tyler wrote these characters. So Maurice has no qualms about confronting Q in order to get a confession, knowing that the way he goes about doing things, he could actually make things worse for him and Sabrina. But when he has the opportunity to go to a lawyer who can hopefully fight the charges and get this case dropped, he wants to either drag his feet or not go at all. Because of, he's homophobic and whatnot. I mean, in regards to Bio. And he's like, yeah, this is a setup to get me locked up. If I was looking at the episode, I'm like, if this clown doesn't get up and get dressed to go to this damn law firm, because I'm just sitting here like, in what world does this make sense? You would rather go out and play vigilante and wow, Q got shot, almost screwing things over completely for you and Sabrina. But when you have the chance to talk to someone who, the more I just watch this scene, especially when they actually go to the lawyer, the more the episode kept going, the more I'm like, Maurice needs to have his ass back in jail. Why did they fight so hard to get him out? Really. Also, last week when we saw the couch, I laughed when I saw how proud Calvin was, but then the fact that we got to see the front side of the couch in this episode, I'm like, look, I'm no interior decorator my damn self, but even I wouldn't have bought that. The way he's just petting the pillows, he proud of those lions, and I'm just thinking to myself, has Calvin's character just been reduced to this? I mean, there's really no other character motivation for him aside from playing with pillows. I mean, when you really think about it, this entire thing with Bio and Maurice and Sabrina and Q, Calvin's just kind of been there. Seriously, he's really just kind of been there. I mean, the only main character thing for him recently was him being jealous of Bio, but that's about it. So, just another character who's just there to fill up space. But in any case, Sabrina comes over, and she looked really cute when she was so determined. It's like, well, hey, you could stay here if you want to. I'm going to go fight for my freedom. I don't know why. I just love Sabrina's determination face. So then as she leaves, Maurice does say something. Look, I'm not a fan of how he calls his quote-unquote friends out of their name. But he did say, well, you need to fight for your sense of fashion wearing white after Labor Day, tacky B. I ain't going to lie. I died laughing at that. And I don't know why he came out of his room looking like he was going to a baptism in that blue gown or whatever. But, I mean, Maurice is pretty lucky. What was it, a few weeks ago? Sabrina grabbed him and then shoved him on the couch. And then in this episode, he's in his room and she barges in to get him out of bed. And I'm like, if that were me, come on, to be lucky enough to have somebody like Sabrina charge into my room. But anyway, let's get myself wishes out of this situation. But in any case, they end up going to Michael Smith, and he looks like a slimmer Uncle Phil. He does, and I think that's pretty cool, because when I saw him, like, I got Fresh Prince vibes immediately. So Sabrina comes in, and then Maurice and Calvin come in. And from the promo, he basically says that, look, the case itself is pretty weak. I want to do what I can to have it dropped. But the most damning piece of evidence is the confession that Q has on tape. I mean, Q has a large record, and, you know, he's trying to clean himself up, you know, getting a job and whatnot. But despite him not being the strongest witness, it's the fact that the confession makes things look damning. But as I said earlier in the video, or was it in my trailer breakdown, anybody with a shred of common sense could tell that it is sarcasm. Simple as that. But yeah, but Maurice was just doing way too much in this, from sitting on Calvin. You know, I honestly do not know what this, I swear, if they were ever in court, he would immediately go to jail. You know, first, like, one more outburst, and you'll be held in contempt. And he would be looking over at Q. Q wouldn't even have to do anything. Q and Logan, they could just sit there and let Maurice get himself arrested. You know good and well that if Maurice made it into the courtroom, he would be arrested in less than 45 seconds and sent back to jail. Simple as that. So, in any case, yeah, he explains that, you know, with the case, if things don't go well, then it's going to be 15 years. And then that's pretty much the end of the scene. So, sheesh. We go over to Zach and Fatima's place. Fatima's getting ready to go. Zach is just knocked out sleep. I remember watching a scene like, damn, even though I took a nap earlier in the day yesterday to watch the episode, you know, while being energetic, if you will. I'm like, I wish I could be laid out in bed sleeping like that right now. But in any case, Fatima quietly walks out. Also, I got a question. If Fatima was trying to, like, sneak out without waking up Zach, why would she listen to the voicemail that Andy left her right there next to the bed like he couldn't hear it? But basically, it's the voicemail about, hey, deposition meeting. I know if you're up, you can reschedule it because, you know, you're efficient like that. So she decides to leave. Then, you know, Zach gets a phone call. And it's Karen. Apparently it's 7:45 in the morning. And she's headed to the salon early to, you know, check out damages and whatnot to see if Zach wanted to meet her there. I mean, hell, if it were me, I'd be like, look, 10 o'clock, because it's 7:45. I ain't getting up that early. But in any case, she's really manipulative. You know, the fact that she's all sweet. And when was the last time she talked to Zach in such a way? I mean, she talks about, I can't remember the last time he was so sweet. Well, when's the last time she sounded like this? It almost felt like she was acting the same way she was in season 2 when Aaron was making such a good impression on her, like, you know, changing her for the better. But in any case, we look at little things like, oh, she's patient with Zach. She's saying thank you. Oh, 45 minutes? Well, hey, I got time to stop for breakfast. I can get, you know, that breakfast biscuit we used to love and everything. And it's little things like that where you can tell she's trying to slowly get Zach back. But, folks, it's not going to happen. Or should I say, Karen, it's not going to happen. So from there, he gets off the phone. He throws a fit about that bed not being made up. But also, look, hey, remember, I've been single for God knows how long. But, I mean, do you make up? For those of you who are married or, you know, you got a partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Basically, if you on the regular share bed with someone, if one of you gets up and leaves before the other, do you make up your side of the bed? I don't really get that. That doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, maybe the pillow thing, I guess, but I don't know. I sleep with 5 pillows. Wait, actually, 1 body pillow I put at like the bottom of the head of the bed. It's like, you know, I got the head of the bed, but I put the body pillow kind of at the bottom, and then I put like 2 or 3 pillows on top of that for elevation for my head. I don't know, that's just me. But in any case, he gets mad about the bed. I'm just saying to myself, Man, you just got off the phone with your ex. And yet you're over here mad about some damn bed. Also, later in the episode, actually, this is the next scene to talk about. Oh, also, just real quick, Hayden stops by Gary's office. I actually like this scene. It was pretty cool. I mean, with these two, Dumb and Dumber, I prefer this scene to the Andy and Gary scene from last week. While it was good, it was just stretched out way too long. This was pretty funny. So, yeah, Hayden explains that basically, instead of Miami, Tamara wanted to switch it up and go to Las Vegas. They got drunk, they got fucked up, and then they got married. And Gary is like, bro, you should get that shit annulled right now. You're a lawyer. Yeah, but I don't know if I want to. And it's like, I like her though, but I really don't know her that well. Anybody with common sense would get this shit annulled right now. But I feel like this is just like Bruh season 3, when Bill went to Mike about he and Regina getting married, and he's like, Mike is like, he's a lawyer too. Mike is like, look, just get it annulled. But then Bill's like, I don't know, man, I don't know. And then Tom is like, bro, you should just work things out, just see it through. And then things got worse and worse. And I remember watching Bruh season 3 and going, I've never been a big Bill fan, but after watching the way Regina has been acting in season 3, I can see why he started cheating. Basically, Regina is only marrying him for revenge for messing up her wedding with Peter, even though she was the one that had sex with Bill at her bachelorette party. So who's the real villain here? So in any case, Gary talks to Hayden about the way Andy was going off, and then I think Hayden is wrong about this, but basically like, oh, she ain't mean that shit. She wants your money. And it's like, but Andy has money too. So from there, Gary wants Tamara's name, but I don't think Hayden ever gave it up, because he said like, well, before lunchtime, I will know everything about this woman, even like the ship that her ancestors came here, the slave ship that her ancestors came to America. And it's just one of those things where if Hayden just gave up the damn name, that could actually answer a lot of questions. So I don't know. All I know is this. I mean, in situations in real life, there is no way somebody's going to get up and leave. It's kind of like if you watched Madea Family Funeral, and they're at the hospital, and then the father of the family was pronounced dead, and then Madea, Hattie, and them kept hinting at how them knowing how he died, and it's like, there is no way in hell that family would let you leave until you told them what was up. Like, you're not just going to say, well, bye. It's like, no, you're going to sit down and tell me what happened. So we move on to the law firm. Wow, we only got 2 more scenes to talk about. Okay, so over at the law firm, we got Andy and Fatima talking before Zach randomly pops up like Gary. But this scene has me thinking that Fatima may have had therapy as well. Maybe she's gone to counseling, because you know how I've gotten annoyed with her whole thing about, oh, I'm processing things and whatnot. But she said it in such a way where it's like, hey, I'm working on it. It's like, yeah, I process things. So instead of going, pow, 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 I just process things, and then I will talk to Zach from there. But it just seems, okay, on the one hand, I am glad she is processing things, because everything that's happened in the past 24 hours, I could easily see Fatima, season 5, Fatima being like, I'm packing my stuff and I'm leaving, Zach. But now she's like sitting with it because, yeah, it's easy for her to lash out in anger. But on the flip side, she has been avoiding the situation. I mean, Zach is hurting your feelings, clearly. He is completely disregarding how you feel about any of this. But the thing is, if you don't communicate that with him, he's going to keep doing stupid shit. For once, even I'm like Fatima, like in last season. Well, if you don't know what the problem is, we got a problem. Yeah, this time around, it makes complete sense, because multiple times, I think in this week's episode and last week's episode, when somebody calls him out, I think in this week it was Andy, last week it was Preston. Zach, you did not see the way Fatima was looking. We all thought Karen died. Why is everybody looking at Fatima? Yeah, we all thought Karen died, Zach, but the way you were getting all emotional and running up to Karen and whatnot, you were the one who was ignoring your spouse to be. And I said, well, Andy, to be kind of fair, you were just so, emotional and over it. You can barely stand on your own 2 feet. That even if Zach wanted to be near Fatima, you were pretty much taking up the space there. But in any case, Zach comes over to talk to Fatima about, being angry, but then Fatima just walks away. Andy stops him. Is like, look, she has a job to do. So from there, Andy, being real, calls Zach out for his foulness, and he's like, well, hey, I'm just trying to help make things better. Now, here's something that some fans have brought up that actually makes sense. Could Zach be feeling Karen all over again? Is that why he's doing this? Or is part of him still in the mindset of, I owe Karen, so I'm doing what I can to help fix it? But that actually is one of those things I brought up months ago where it's like, well, if Karen doesn't want to sign the paperwork for the child support stuff, if that is his kid, maybe the salon repairs could be Zach's way of saying, hey, if you don't agree to the child support thing, I can help restore your salon, which is your livelihood, and that can be the child support right there. But regardless of what's going on, Zach being completely ignorant and blind to how he's making Fatima feel is making him look incredibly worse and worse by the episode. So later on, we get Fatima in Andy's office, and she is taking off the ring, and she gives it to Andy to put in a box in her office. And then we actually pan over to the box as they're walking out to go to their deposition meeting. The ring will be discovered by someone. I have no doubt in my mind. It will either be Karen, because she'll come to the law firm at some point. It could be Gary, but somebody said this during the live stream. It makes a lot of sense. It could be Hayden. Maybe Hayden finds out about the ring. He goes to Gary about it, and then he just goes all the way off. So, aside from that, the final scene is at the salon where we get Karen, who's telling 2 customers about the fire. So, hey, I can't do your hair, but I will let you know as soon as the place is fixed up. Pam shows up, and then from there, Aaron comes around the corner looking like he's doing community service. And like I said in my trailer breakdown, seriously, why are you even here? Aaron, why are you even here? She don't want you. As Karen said about, I want Zach to say to my face, I don't love you no more. I don't want to be with you no more. I don't want to see you no more. After what happened last week when Karen basically told you to bounce, why the hell are you doing this? I mean, Pam is like, Karen, you better think this, man. What's kind of funny? Aaron goes above and beyond trying to get Karen's attention and affection, but it's not happening. Kind of in the same way that Karen is taking Zach's moment of concern for her well-being and just running with it. He wants me. And all the while, she's making a fool of herself while doing it the same way Aaron is. Just saying. So then Zach shows up, and kind of a dick measuring contest. He's like, oh, wow. Hey, Aaron, never seen you look better. And then this fool has the audacity to say, well, hey, man, are you here to, talk smack or help out? Because I actually have a suit in the back, that's youth size if you want to put it on, and will help get the trash. Oh, also, yeah, the dead body was removed, but it's not a good idea for Karen to go in there to look because of all the chemicals and whatnot with her being pregnant, so there's that. Also, the first time we heard Zach mention the safety of the baby, it's like, oh yeah, with the chemicals and whatnot, are you okay? The baby's okay? And then, she thanks him for being supportive, and he actually puts his hands around her waist. And this is prior to the kiss, so I'm like, no, Zach, don't do this. Don't do it. So the thing is, I heard, and this is one of the funny things about these Tyler Perry shows, if you listen closely to the background, you can hear when somebody pulls up or closes the door, and I'm like, oh my goodness, Fatima just rolled up, and she saw the kiss on the cheek. And it's funny because Karen's looking at the shop, and Zach is like, oh shit, and then the episode ends. So that's pretty much it. That's the episode in a nutshell. Like I said, it was alright. I thought it was much better than the past 2, but nothing, too much to write home about. Next week's promo looks alright. I'm looking like, okay, we'll see, what's going on there. But I'm not like super pumped about it. So, Sistas is not, I wouldn't say this is the worst season. Hell to the no. No. But the way that Zach is being written, I'm not too crazy about it. and I'll leave it at that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.